What's going on, everyone? Welcome to another video on the Subaru build. So, back to work on it, slowly making progress on it. I haven't really been able to do much lately because I got hurt, but we're going to try to knock some stuff out. There's only like one major thing that's left to get this thing back on the road so we can actually start knocking out some shakedown and like figure out if I need to fix anything else on the car that might be broken. And that is taking care of the rear brake lines. This makes like the third or fourth time that I've actually redone these brake lines in this car too, because I did it initially when it was just a rallycross car and I threw in a handbrake, and then I did it when I had to throw the cage in. I guess this will be the third time, so it's not that many times, or maybe the fourth. I think I'm forgetting one, but this time I'm going to route it a little bit better. That way I don't have to worry about ruining them again when we actually get this thing back on stage. You can actually see what I'm talking about when I say that I routed them kind of poorly. So they came in here where they went into the master for the actual hydro, came back to the distribution block, and then went back into their little slot. You can't really see it underneath the brake line. I chose that hole just because that was where the speed sensor went in, and it already had a grommet that fit it perfectly, and I didn't have to come up with anything because I had to get rid of the speed sensor anyway. Now I'll show you in a second where that actually routed and why that was a bad idea and why I shouldn't have done that. Once I get the rear wheels off and up in the air in the opposite order. And then once I disconnect them, well, I don't have to disconnect the driver's side because it's ripped off. But once I disconnect the passenger side, we can start routing them, flaring them, and doing all that fun brake line stuff that nobody likes to do. Oh, and I even kind of cleaned up my garage the other day. Can't even tell because I got a whole bunch of parts in. As you can see, I got a bumper, wheels, random stuff from Amazon, plastic so I can make wheel wells for this thing. So yeah, we're gonna try to move this stuff out of the way, get this thing in the air, and get to work. So I just spent about the last 10 minutes walking around looking for the handle of my jack. Lo and behold, it's what's holding up my hood right now because I don't have a hood prop. It's awesome. It's what I waste my time on when I'm actually working on my car. So here's the actual severed line, as you can see right here. We kinked it to try to like save it, or to try to like close it off completely. That way I didn't have any pressure lost and I can actually bleed the brakes and still have 3 brakes actually working, because this happened on like stage 5. As you can see, the way that I routed it was kind of dumb. I don't know if you can actually see it, but it's kind of a poor routing choice. Kind of like up in between the subframe, and it ended up kind of getting pinched. It used to come down here and then come up to match up here. So this kind of hung low and it ended up getting pinched. I'm not really sure how, but it happened. So the plan is just go in somewhere up here with the brake line and then have it come out maybe like this far. I was going to use bulkhead fittings on it, but I can't find like any bulkhead fittings that would work unless I go to all flex line. We're just gonna go through the wheel well with hard line because I got a bunch of hard line. It's way cheaper, and I think it'll work just fine. If I ever run into any issues, I will go to it. But honestly, if I go to dash 3 like I want to, I would have to use like an extra adapter or even remake my brake line fittings that are right here, like that are going from the hard line to the caliper, because that's a 10mm fitting on one end. And I would need either a dash 3 to 10mm double male end, which would be kind of annoying to find, and then prices go up as like the more fittings you use, especially with dash 3 with good stuff. So I'd be looking at, I don't know, probably like $150 just to redo the rear, whereas I have everything to do it now that I already bought in bulk, and it should be good. It'll be a lot better of a routing than before, and even stock, so that's good. That's the plan. Shouldn't take too long to knock it out, so let's get to work. So the plan is to just drill pretty much right through this sheet metal of the wheel well. I already have these grommets that are size for the actual brake line. So this is 3/16 diameter on the inside, and like 5/64 of an inch or something on like the inside part of the grommet. So I'm just going to drill a hole, go straight through, put this grommet in, and then this will actually be what the brake line goes through. So I've got this very easy to tell line right through here, which you probably can't tell, of where I did the seam welding. So I'm just going to go like right above that because I know for sure that that's just one layer of sheet metal and I'm not going to hit anything on the other side. So I already got my drill bit and we're ready to go. Grommet's in. Now we just have to get the line flaring stuff out and then throw the brake line fittings on. So I'm going to do one side first, probably the inside, since that's the hardest to get at. Actually, no, I'll do the outside first and then do the bend. And I'll just go inside and do both of them and cut them to length when I actually figure out exactly where they need to go. Knock out both of these and then go inside the car. And that is why that tool is so worth the money. It's expensive, but it saves you so much time and heartache when you're like messing with these flares and you keep getting leaks. So definitely saves you money. I really enjoy that tool when I have to use it. Well, as much as you can when you have to do brake lines.
Well, I'm a lot happier with that routing, a lot less hardline out of the car. This actually has less bends in it, the soft line, and it's kind of out of the way a little bit more. Before, it was kind of forced to like come down and out and whatnot. So I'm just going to zip tie it, if it focuses. Probably to this to secure it, and it really shouldn't go anywhere. I definitely like that a lot better. Seems like it is less prone to getting ripped out like the old line was, because that was kind of a dumb way to route it before. So now, just gotta move over to the other side, and then knock out the inside of the car. So here's something that's interesting. I guess I pierced this brake line too. I don't know if you can see that. There's a little hole in the brake line and a huge dent in it. So I don't know if it was just bad placement, something pinched it, or like a rock whacked it. But I actually lost both my rear brakes, which is probably why I lost it the second time after I pinched that one off. Because it should have been enough to hold pressure. I guess that would probably explain it. Wow, I don't know if it's just that bad a placement or like these lines really suck. I don't know. Hopefully it doesn't happen again though. It should be a lot less likely because there won't be any hard line out. I mean, except for like that inch. So that's good. So hopefully we don't run into this again. Well, the brake lines are done. That line right there took me a really long time. I should have done it the right way, where you actually break out like 10 gauge or thicker wire, like 8 gauge, or a coat hanger, and you bend it all in the actual shape that you want it to go in. Then you pull it out and you bend the entire line.
outside, and then you end up with a real pretty looking line. But I didn't. I rushed it, but it's good. I am going to mount it to the transmission tunnel and clean up some of the bends a little bit later. I'm done for the evening, but the brake lines are essentially done. So yeah, I'm just gonna finish up routing the brake lines probably tomorrow if I got time, as well as bleeding the brakes and getting rid of the old brake lines that are in there so it looks a little better. The routing definitely looks a little bit better than before, and it'll go underneath the fuel lines. I got to pull those fuel lines off anyway. I don't know if you even noticed, but it's going on top of them. It will go beneath them. I just have to pull those off anyway to paint that box that I made and weld it in. So that'll all be done. I have to also pull the master back out because I got to paint that mount that I actually made, so still got to do that. Probably knock all that out tomorrow, all the little tedious stuff. Yeah, it wasn't much fun working on the car. I've got a bunch of stitches in my elbow right now, and I've got like these road rash burns on me, and I kept hitting my elbow like in quite a bit of areas, like on the roll bar, on the door bars, everything. So not much fun. I wasn't really feeling like working on the car, but got some stuff done, which is good, and I'm happy about that. That's all I got for this video, though. I'm not going to drag it on until tomorrow. I'll just do all that stuff off camera. It's pretty boring anyway. Just watch me bleed brakes and paint stuff. So pick this up whenever I do something next. Hopefully I start getting more motivated to work on this thing and get it done so I can put the Datsun in here and I don't have to have this thing in here, because this thing should be outside and the nice Datsun should be inside, protected from the weather. But yeah, that thing never has even been touched since I've owned it, which is terrible. That's a story for another day, though. I'm done. Stop rambling. You guys have a good one.